Alrighty, kiddos, this is one of your favorite parts of the day when one of your government teachers does a Twitch-like stream of the lesson. Let's get to it. We're talking about fighting for your right to be independent from a tyrannical government. That was in the little Beastie Boys. Do you guys even know the Beastie Boys? Probably not. Anyways, fighting for your rights is what we're looking at today. We're looking at the Declaration of Independence, okay? What the Declaration of Independence was and its importance. The Declaration of Independence was basically a breakup letter with Great Britain saying we're done for specific reasons. All right. Patrick Henry, one of the most outspoken and charismatic leaders of the American Revolution, famously stated, "Give me liberty or give me death," regarding his and his colonies' desire from freedom from Britain and rule and oppression. Consider what he and many of the colonists are willing to risk for their principles. They're risking life and liberty. They're risking their fortunes because most people who are doing this were rich, and they're risking everything to get freedom from Great Britain. What would you risk for your liberty? How would you express your desire for rights? Right now, people are out there doing that. How far would you go? That type thing. After a lengthy debate, the colonists chose to take up arms against the British and wrote a document declaring their independence, that breakup letter. In this lesson, you will learn about the colonies' decision to separate from British rule and the aftermath of this act of declaration. So we're looking at checks and balances, limited government, popular sovereignty. We're looking at separation of powers. Pretty interesting stuff here. All right, very important stuff here. We go through these lessons quickly. We want you guys to make sure you spend a little bit more time on them. But we just kind of wanted to give you that little teacher nudge to let you know what you need to look at as you go through it. All right, where was I? The decision to declare independence from Britain was not a foregone conclusion, meaning everyone just thinks it was going to happen. Well, you know it was going to happen. It happened because of brave people. Even after the shot heard round the world at the battles of Lexington and Concord, many leaders and lay people continue to think that reconciliation, sometimes I pronounce that word wrong, people continue to think that reconciliation with Britain was desirable and possible. Still, just like today, the people of America were divided. So people were like, let's fight them. Other people were like, I don't know, let's be with them. And then people were like, I don't care, just let me sell my stuff and not be bothered. On the other hand, an increasing number of people favored independence. Thomas Paine, a philosopher and political activist, published the pamphlet Common Sense, which was a plea to the colonists to defy the British government and to seek independence. Guys, the people you see on TV today, a lot of similarities to these people who were fighting for independence in the past, okay? Really interesting connections that you can make there. Select the link. You're like, well, Mr. Galt, some people considering those people on TV bad right now. Well, some people back then considered Thomas Paine bad. That's what history's about. Oh, gosh, this stuff eats me inside. If you get a chance, make sure you click on that Common Sense link, read all that kind of stuff. After several attempts to resolve their differences with the British government, the colonies made the difficult decision to divorce them. Sorry, how about Great Britain? In 1776, something you should definitely know because of July 4th. Drawing on influential documents such as the Magna Carta and the ideas of philosophers like John Locke, the founders drafted the Declaration of Independence declaring sovereignty, dignity, and liberty based upon natural rights. And then, as you know, in all American history, at the time, they were just talking about white men with land. But, hey, read topic 2, the beginnings of the American government, lesson 2, independence. Read right below. Read the textbook. This is where you would pause me and read those pages. Do I have to, Mr. Galt? Yes! This is your government class. You need to learn this stuff. Next page. Doom, doom. Following the Declaration of Independence, most states adopted some form of constitution to structure their government. Yes, I'm going to talk about this. There's the American Constitution, the United States Federal Constitution that controls federal law, and then each state has their own constitution, and we'll get into it. There we go. While each specifically addressed its constituencies and regional concern, there existed some key commonalities, including the democratic concepts of popular sovereignty, limited government, separation of powers, checks and balances, and individual rights and liberties. These relatively short but important documents were precursors to the Articles of Confederation, which you'll do a portfolio on, and the U.S. Constitution, the one that won. Read below these things right here. Yes, each state would have their own constitution, their own way of setting up their state governments. Very important. So when the United States came together, at first they came together as more of a confederacy because each of them had their own constitution, the way they wanted to do things, and they realized, well, that's not going to work. We need to be more combined, need to be more one, that we can be more powerful. They all got together. They had one constitution, so all the state constitutions had to make sure they didn't interfere with the United States Constitution, which is when we have the Supreme Court and all this stuff to make sure it's all there. The pieces are coming together for you, and we're going to put them all together before this year is over, with liberty and justice for all. The legacy of the Declaration of Independence still resonates today, still all about today. Consider the original words of the Pledge of Allegiance as it was written in 1892. I pledge allegiance to my flag and republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Galt, you forgot to say under God. The original one did not have under God. They did not add under God to the Pledge of Allegiance until the 1950s, so the original one didn't have it. That's the reason I didn't say it. Please don't counsel me if you are the ones who would like to do that. What evidence of American ideals do you notice in these words? How are the main ideas of the Declaration of Independence reflected here? Each component of this pledge reflects the Founding Fathers' democratic philosophy. Before you answer the following questions, take a moment to review the Declaration of Independence timeline. This goes across the all-American history, kind of leaves out slavery and stealing lands and everything. But for the English side, it does talk about what we do and how we broke up and the Revolutionary War ends in 1781. And then we'll write the Articles of Confederation, and then we'll write the Constitution after we realize the Articles of Confederation doesn't work. I'm rushing through things. You don't need to. Make sure you read the things and answer these. Match each phrase to the corresponding item or event. Nice. All right. 5 before I be quiet. A closer look at the Declaration of Independence. All right. These are your review activities we want you to do. You do these, not me. Read about each of these and match the important documents. If you guys have not taken U.S. history yet, you will need to know these. And so it is very important that you do these. Mr. Galt, I don't know if I got them right. They're going to show you the answers right there. Make sure you do it. And then after that, you'll have I think it's a 10-question quiz you'll need to do. You will not have to do any modified questions for this because there is no open-ended questions there. All right, so there we go. A quick introduction to the lesson that you'll do today. Please make sure that you go back and do the things in this lesson that you need to get done so you know what you need to know about American government. If you have any questions, of course, webmail, call, text me, or Mr. Huff, depending on which teacher you have. Thank you for your time on, if you're doing this on the right day, Friday.